I did start myself, but it was different back then. There was no apprenticeships to be had. I mean, I think in London there was maybe 6 shops. I hate to think how many there are now. I know there's 6. There was probably 16 in Camden last time we did a head count. So that's just how much it's changed, and that's just one small area of London. So I think that now I think the only real way to get into the industry is to get an apprenticeship and find it that way. There's certainly always room for talent, I think the weirdest thing with our industry is probably that it's one of the only industries I can think of that actually are trying to stop talent to come into it, where most other industry are proactive in trying to get talent to get into it, and our industry seems to be scared of that. And I think that's just because we're still old dinosaurs in the modern world.
But there's that whole argument of, there's the scratchers mentality of people buying kits off the internet, and there's the opposite, which is so long as you run a clean shop, you can legitimately open up. But I guess that's self-regulating as well, in that people just won't go to a crap artist.
Unfortunately, I think that there is a lack of self-regulation when it comes to clients. I think that maybe one thing that we could have focused a bit more on is to educate people where to go and what to look for, and that's one thing I certainly regret that we didn't do more of. It was something that was discussed for a long time, whether we could, we felt strongly that we wanted to introduce it into the program, but I suppose that the directors and editors felt that it was a little boring to look at. But it was something that I was very keen on trying to get across. I think people are far too keen to just get cheap tattoos, and it's weird how people will pay 200 or 300 quid for a pair of trainers, but seems to sort of and ah about £150 tattoo. Yeah. I've never really understood that. I don't think that you can spend enough on a tattoo. Surely the better it gets is for the rest of your life. People will spend 1,500 on a flat screen that's worth nothing in 3 years. But if you say to them, that tattoo or that sleeve's going to cost that, they're nearly faint.
Maybe it's because you can't put it on credit.
That might be a good one. Yeah, we could do that. I don't know, but
no, that would set the industry on its head.
It would, wouldn't it? Yeah. Well, we're certainly HD ready. But I think it's weird, and I think that people should be more careful. And I suppose the difference between buying a guitar and playing it in your bedroom and buying a tattoo kit is that you can't kill someone with a guitar, or you definitely have to try very hard to kill someone with a guitar, whereas you can easily cause some serious damage with a tattoo machine, and fatal damage as well if you're not careful. Yeah. And I suppose that's why we're all a little bit sketchy, and we all feel very protective, because it's something that we've all built up from an industry that was dirty and was backstreet to something that's now, hospital grade clean. And we're very proud as an industry as a whole to have got to a level where you can pretty much say that any shop that you walk into, you're safe as a client, and that's something we quite like to keep that way. And obviously one incident in a bedroom is going to affect all of us. The people are not going to distinguish between scratchers and professional shops, and I think all we can do as an industry now is educate our clients, educate people, and educate the industry itself. Who are you selling to? Why are you selling to these people? Surely a starter kit should include some kind of sterilisation, But that's something I think that's the next step.
Is it likely that this ban is going to happen on internet sales?
I can't see it. You can't ban anything on the internet. You know what I mean?
Because you can just import.
You just go from China or wherever. I think all you're going to do is, to me, I find bans are ridiculous. I find any kind of bans. But then, I come from a Scandinavian kind of attitude background where we don't like the nanny state, and we don't do that. I think education is a better way. If you don't want people to do something, a ban is just going to make it more interesting. It's going to drive it more underground, in my opinion. And that is only my opinion. I think if you educate people and educate them, sometimes if you sit down and talk to people who are doing it from the bedroom, you say you understand the implications and the consequences of what you're doing if you do it wrong, they'll look at you and go, I didn't realise. I might think twice about it, If you ban them, they're just going to go, fuck them. They just want to make all the money, I want to make some of that as well. I want my little pot of gold. And that's not what it's about. I'm more than willing to take people on if they got talent and they got the right attitude, in my opinion, the right attitude, and help them. I've just done a seminar, and And if people are willing to come to a seminar and sit down for an hour and a half and listen to me baffle, that's good enough for me. That shows that they got the right attitude. It shows that they have time and they have respect for the industry enough to go and sit and learn. And therefore I'm willing to give my knowledge that I've learned, and it's taken me 20 years to get. And I had to shoehorn some of that knowledge out of the old boys.
I guess that's some of the thing is with the internet TV culture, you're automatically suddenly an overnight success. Whereas, you know, people in Blackpool may not have ever heard of you.
Yeah.
Suddenly everyone's heard of you.
Everyone, yeah.
And that's their perception of lucky.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
what qualifies you to be.
Yeah.
Who made you gold?
Well, the thing is, it's, you know, a lot of it is luck. You've got to be at the right time, at the right place at the right time. But also you got to have big enough balls to take the luck when it presents itself. And I know a lot of tattooists who have had equal opportunities and turned it down. You know, we didn't know how this show was going to go when we said yes. It could have ruined my career, but I took the risk and I did it, and I stand by it. And I don't think that I've been particularly more lucky than anyone else. I was just, you know what I mean? I was at the right place at the right time, but I also, you know, took the decision and did it and gambled. It could have gone either way. I've done some other decisions in my life that hasn't gone quite as well.
So when all the shouting's over, is the industry in a good place at the moment? I think it is. It looks good.
Yeah,
it's in a healthy place, a profitable place.
I think that we're going to have some hard times ahead, but I think that goes for any industry. I think you know the good times are over a little bit. You know, we've been too lucky for too long. I mean, you used to put on a show and you would have 5, you know, I don't know how many people, 60,000 people, however many people come through the doors looking for places to spend their money. What can we spend money on? What can we spend money on? It's not going to happen anymore. We're going to have to go back and do what we do best, which is work for our money and work hard. And it's just going back to how it used to be. I just think, you know, like the little, you know, like sort of golden rush we had.
Just to bolt onto your core.
Yeah, I can always go back and do what I did beforehand. I don't need it, you know what I mean? I was in a happy place beforehand. It certainly made it better, but I think that we have to work for our clients again now. I think that people are educated more now. They look for better quality tattoos. You know, you can't just open up a shop and then have a queue outside your shop full of people who want to get tattooed if you're no good. You know, because there'll be someone down the road that is really good. So that's changed, and I don't see any of what I see the real guys complaining about it, but I see a lot of people who are just free runners and who was on here for a free ride and for, you know, some easy cash, not being too happy about it. But if they disappear from the industry, I won't lose any sleep over that. I think that there's so much more at stake here than just an industry. We mustn't forget that we are part of a living history that dates back to the early cave paintings, you know, and we're representing our little snippet of the moment, where people will look back at what we're doing now in books and reference it, and we will be a part of history, and we're standing on the shoulder of giants, and I don't think we must ever forget the responsibility that we have to the industry and to represent it the best we can, and therefore we have to do the best we can, and we it's our job as this generation of tattooists to take the industry a little bit forward, whether that goes towards the media or it spreads it to more people or it becomes a popular culture from being an underground culture. That's our job, whatever it is. But I think if you just see it as an industry and if you just see it as a job, I think you're in the wrong place. I think you have to respect the history and what's gone before us and the hard work that, you know, people like Lel Hardy and George Bone and all these people who built it, George Bertrand and all these guys who built all this that we're standing on. And we as the next generation have to respect it and have to then say, okay, this is what you gave us. We're going to do the best that we can to our ability and take it to the next step. And then it's time to hand it over to the younger generation and they'll do the same.